Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I apologize if I look crazy or tired or schizo, some might say, for this video, because I actually stayed up pretty much all night training this Tanjiro character to try and get as much information as possible, first-hand experience for this video. So I could tell you guys about Tanjiro, tell you everything that you need to know about him, what training is like, how bossing is like on Tanjiro, how do you do the journal missions, some stuff that could be bugged along the way. There's just so much to talk about this, and I'm very excited as well to hear what you guys think about this event so far, now that it's been a couple days, and also a couple maintenances, and also a couple rollbacks in the comments below. So definitely tell me how you feel about everything so far, and I'm going to tell you about how I feel. Now, obviously, if this video helps you out in any way, or maybe you learned something, make sure to subscribe because it helps me out so much, and pull up to the Twitch channel where you can watch me live and train Tanjiro myself. So first, I want to talk about training Tanjiro and what I think about it. So when I created my Tanjiro character, I had extreme growth potions, I had strawberry farm tickets. I know a lot of people got rolled back, and I was getting asked every 5 minutes yesterday, what do I do? What do I do? I got rolled back. What do I do? How do I get my items back? I'm sorry, I have no answer. Like, you have to send a ticket to Nexon and pray that they do something about it. If it was me, if I got rolled back, I didn't get rolled back, but I got lucky enough that I didn't. But if I did get rolled back, I probably wouldn't even bother training this guy at the moment until I get my stuff back from Nexon, to be honest with you, because it's already so annoying to train him. And if I didn't have like the fake CRA, for example, or the boss accessory set, like, it would be even worse. So I just can't fathom training without the symbols either. Especially, I think this is the most important one. If you got your symbols rolled back, I think this is like unimaginably difficult to train. Now, yes, Tanjiro has a big XP boost, right? He has a 1200% XP boost, but in reality, it's not as OP as I initially thought, to be honest with you. The reason for that is because Tanjiro's mobbing is so bad. And because Tanjiro's mobbing is bad, that means he can't get really high kill rates. And if you remember, and if you've been watching a lot of my videos, you would know that there are two things that make you get really good training rates. First of all, obviously training with really high XP modifiers, like using coupons and stuff like that. And the second thing is killing a lot of mobs. Your kill rate is the most important thing when killing mobs. Somebody who trains in a map that can get 17k kill rate, for example, or somebody who trains in a map that gets like 13k kill rate, the person that gets 17k kill rate will pretty much always get more XP than the person at 13k. That's just how it is. You're killing more mobs per hour, right? And because Tanjiro's mobbing is so bad, he doesn't get to kill that many mobs per hour. Now, the thing is, low levels, it doesn't matter too much, because when you're low level training this guy, whatever, like, you're not full clearing the map anyway. No classes, like, when I'm talking about low level, like 0 to 200, like, you're not full clearing the maps regardless. So it feels about standard as other classes. I would say faster, to be honest with you, because of the XP buff. But once you get to 200 plus, the training slows down a lot. And if you didn't have strawberry farm tickets from past events, or if you didn't have extreme growth potions, or if those things got rolled back, it is super annoying to train this guy, in my opinion. And I've trained a lot of characters before to very high level across multiple accounts. I've trained a lot in my life. I have a character at 290. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you that this guy is not fun to train. Like, he is so exhausting to train, to be honest with you. But the reason why I stayed up all night, like I mentioned at the start of this video, is to make this video, because I want to tell you firsthand how it felt to train this guy as somebody who plays this game every single day, and as somebody who plays this game and trains characters all the time. I did not enjoy training this guy. The thing is, the novelty wears off fast. Like, yes, it's cool that it's Tanjiro. Yes, it's cool. His animations are sick and everything like that. It's all really cool. But at the end of the day, training is training. You have to put so many hours into it, and you're just like spamming this skill that feels clunky and has a dog shit hitbox. Now, let me show you some of the maps that I trained at in the process. So first of all, the first thing that you got to know is that make sure you are doing the Tanjiro's journal every single time you are training and progressing this character. That's the first thing you should always look at. Before you do anything, always check the journal missions. You can check the future missions as well, even if you didn't complete them, so you know what you're doing. Now, the reason I mention this is because a lot of the missions are buggy or they don't let you claim them if you do them in the wrong order. So for example, let's say I gained 100 Star Force, right? I have 100 Star Force on my gear, but I'm still over here. This mission could get bugged for some people. Now, it's not supposed to be like that. It's not at all. Like it's just bugged right now. There's a bunch of bugs with this event that I want to warn you guys about so you don't fall for these mistakes that I've seen so many people fall for. The other thing is you want to make sure that you save your Monster Park runs when you are low level, like when you're below 225. The reason for that is because once you get to level 200 and you want to get your symbols, you're going to have to do Monster Park. Like for example, this item, the Dominator Pendant Weapon Box or Absol Weapon Box, you're going to have to do a Monster Park run to do it. So don't waste all of your Monster Park runs. Save them as long as possible, so just in case you have to do them for the mission. And then to answer this question, like what should I get? Dominator Pendant or Absol Weapon? If you are going to get this character to 250 and you get the Arcane Weapon, then get a Dominator Pendant because the Absol will be useless. But if you don't get this character to 250, then get a weapon so you at least have something. But I would say for most people, you should get the Dominator anyways. Another quest over here, number 13. Complete Choo Choo Island Monster Park, and then you'll get the Choo Choo Island symbol. So make sure you save your Monster Park runs as well for whenever you get to these missions. The other thing that's very, very important for Tanjiro that you have to realize is that you get 20 Extreme Growth Potions when you reach 100 Star Force. So typically, when you're in your 140s or 130s or something like that, you'll get this Extreme Growth Potion coupon, and it gives you 20 of them. And it's going to get you really close to level 200, because a lot of people are asking me like, how do I get to 200? How do I get to 200? You don't really have to train to 200 on Tanjiro because most of the levels will just be given to you through Extreme Growth Potions. You probably will have to train a little bit, and I just followed my training guide that I will have linked below. So I literally will just go to the maps and hit mobs. Like that's literally what I did. I did this until I hit level 101. Like I just trained in the standard training route. Again, I'll have the training guide linked below. I just hit the monsters straight up. And eventually when I got to level 101, I was able to do Strawberry Farm because, you know, I didn't get my shirt rolled back. I was able to get Strawberry Farm tickets from the previous event. And when I hit level 130 from Strawberry Farm, I left the Strawberry Farm like in the middle of it and then used my Extreme Growth Potions, and then I hit 200. Now, something that is very, 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 very important is when you hit level 200, you're not going to know how to get to Vanishing Journey. You can't just like teleport there or do your 5th job pre-quest. You're going to have to do cutscenes that are in the star tab on the left side of your screen. The star tab opens the event list, and there's going to be cutscenes that you have to do. Because so many people were confused about this, make sure you do the cutscenes. It'll be like a Tanjiro icon here, not the one to the traveling to the mansion. It'll be a new one that you get at level 200. And once you do the cutscenes, then you can get your 5th job and can continue training from there on. Now, the other thing about Tanjiro is that he doesn't have any job advancements, because people were very confused about this too. It's like, how do I job advance on Tanjiro? You don't. There's no job advancements. Everything's in your 1st job and you just level. You don't have to worry about that at all. Also, keep in mind that a lot of the rewards that you get from Tanjiro are tradable. So like, don't feel like you have to use the Black Flames on Tanjiro because you get a lot of Black Flames. You don't necessarily have to use the 17-star scroll on him either. You can't use the Terror Burninator on him, and you can't use the Hyperburn coupon on him. Now, let me show you guys some training rotations that I use to make the Tanjiro training a lot easier. So basically from 200 to maybe 210, you can probably get away with doing Monster Park and dailies and you'll level up really fast. But I didn't train from 200 to 220. I started training in Latch because I had resources that were able to accelerate me further. But if I were to train in Vanishing Journey, I would probably go to this Arma map. The reason for that is it usually has burning. I don't know about Chronos if it has burning, but it might, because this is still like a semi-low-key map, but you can get decent kill rates here. The Kaminari no Kokyu is a huge full map attack skill, and these mobs just give a lot of XP because they're high level in Vanishing Journey, and you could easily stay here till 210 if you want. There's many alternative maps as well. Like there's low-key maps like this one where you can dual plat and just go in a circle. This is the Weathered Land of Rage and Sorrow. It's this map over here. Essentially, try and find burning maps. The thing is, Tanjiro doesn't have really high kill rates, so you don't want to necessarily go to the maps that have the best kill rate. Typically, normally, like under a lot of classes that have their 5th job and stuff like that, you want to go to the maps that have the highest kill rate naturally, right? Because that way you'll get the most XP. But because Tanjiro doesn't have a really good kill rate and it's really hard to full clear with him, you really want to go to maps that have burning, even if they don't necessarily have a ton of mobs, because that way you can get still a ton of XP and it won't be very taxing on you. So in Choo Choo Island, you could either do the classic like turtles rotation where you go on the turtles, you jump in the water, kill them, and then continue. And then there's the portal, and then you just repeat, right? So like this is okay to do as well. There's also the banana map, model forest, where you could take these portals and try and kill the bananas. This is like also pretty good kill rates in this map and XP. But at the end of the day, these two zones, you're not going to get crazy rates because Tanjiro, the maps aren't just as, they're not as good, and like Tanjiro doesn't have crazy kill rate. Now, Lachlan is where I really started to train a lot, and I would train at Chicken Festival 3. This is where I would go. Just do a circle rotation. I would jump here, jump down, and you could use the dashes to like make you go faster, and you could get decent kill rates in this map because you could dual plat and there's a lot of mobs here. Some people also liked the plates map where you can get pretty decent kill rates where you just jump around in a circle again and then use the dash to clear the top side. Some people also liked the shoes map. This is also a valid map. You could use the dash to clear the top and then reset back to the bottom like that. And then some people like a really simple rotation where it's just going in a line at Revelation Place 2. Honestly, this is okay, but this map doesn't have that many mobs, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But it's up to you guys. I mean, honestly, like for me personally, because Tanjiro felt really clunky and doesn't have a really good mobbing capabilities, I just valued very simple rotations on this guy. Now, when you get to Arcana, I think Earth Spirits is the best map initially. Now, the reason for that is like we keep mentioning before, Tanjiro does not have very good kill rates. So a condensed map that might not have a really high mob count is actually better for Tanjiro because his kill rates are so dog. So you have to go to like more condensed maps. So this is when I started feeling like, okay, I can actually full clear these maps and can train here for more of a sustained amount of time because the map layouts are getting kind of better for Tanjiro. Now, a lot of people, myself included, will recommend Water and Sun map because this is a really good early Arcana map. But the map is just too hard to navigate on Tanjiro and you don't have any summons. So killing the top area will just take way too long and you'll end up having the mobs respawn and they're just waiting to be killed before you can even do anything. Again, it's not a bad map. I just think the Earth Spirits are probably better for Tanjiro specifically. But I think for, you know, everybody else, this map's better than Earth Spirits. But what is a very good map, shout out to Sleet as well, is this one, Deepest Part of the Cavern, Lower Path. This map is super good for Tanjiro because you can just literally hold down your main attack skill and you'll full clear top and bottom. And then you could just go back and forth. So I did this all the way until I was level 238. And then once I was 238, I used the Typhoon growth potions that you got from the compensation and that you get from leveling Tanjiro up. So once I hit 238, I used 2 Typhoon growth potions and then I got to 240. So I did this all the way from 230 to 238. Like literally this rotation where you just hold down one button, you just hold down your main attack and then you're good to go. And it's a super easy, super brain dead rotation and it's free as hell. And then now that I'm in my 240s, I've been training at Final Edge of Light 6, where I literally just jump at the bottom part and then use the dash for the top part and try to grab as many mobs as possible. Now, obviously, I'm not full clearing. There's probably going to be some better maps that I'm going to figure out in the future. So if you want me to make a second part to this video where like I show where I train all the way up to 260, then let me know because I will be training this character. Now, the thing is, that leads me to the next point and the next part of this video is I do not recommend people to actually train this character. And I also want to tell you guys that it's okay to not finish this guy. It's perfectly okay to not finish it. If you want to just get it to level 200, get your hyper character Burninator coupon and call it there, and that's fine. And then you just have like a level 200 hero on your account if you want. Or if you want to get it to 220, and then you can have like a boss meal on your account, that's totally okay as well. The reason for that is, trust me, like the training is not that fast. Even though he has the big XP boost, it's not that fast. It feels like shit in my opinion. And I can see a lot of people dropping this guy. The next thing is, can you just do dailies to level up? Like, why not just do dailies? Why even train him in the first place? So I was running the numbers and using the Wacky Beans website. Now, let me show you this real quick if you've never seen it before. There's this website that I'll have linked below. And you can calculate how much XP you're going to get by doing certain things. So let's calculate how much XP you get from doing dailies just on Tanjiro, right? So you're going to do all of the Arcane River dailies, and you're going to do the Tenebris dailies as well because you're a good boy and you want to get as much XP as possible. And then you do Monster Park 7 times a day, and you're not grinding at all, right? Just on Tanjiro, not doing your weeklies. There's no epic dungeon like High Mountain or anything. There's no event tickets, nothing. Like, you're just doing your dailies, right? And you don't use any growth potions. Now, obviously, for most people, you're probably going to have growth potions and XP tickets. What I'm about to show is not exactly how it is, but you can still learn a lot from it. So let's say you start today, 322, and this event ends on April 28th, and you start at level 200 on Tanjiro. So where are you going to end up if you just do dailies? Now, keep in mind, these dailies only get factored in once you've reached the level, so it's not like you're getting all this XP starting at 200. You're going to end up at level 232 by the end of the event if you just do dailies only. So what does this mean? This means that you have to train the character a lot if you actually want to get it to 260 and have a 260 boss meal. On top of that, it also means that you can get a decent Enlomian boss meal, like that's like around level 230 if you just do dailies. So the reason why I said it's okay to not train this character is because I know from my firsthand experience that training it is miserable, and I don't want you guys to go through that. And I can see here with the numbers that you can still get a decent boss meal out of it if you don't even train anyways and you just do dailies. Now, the thing is, you do get coupons. Like for me, I got 2 Typhoon growth potions, so I'm going to factor that in, right? And the XP tickets, you're going to get 8,000 of them total throughout this event once the mini game comes out. So let's factor that in as well. You're going to end up at 236. So if I were to only do dailies, I would end up at 236. Now, let's say you use the Typhoon potions and you use all of the XP tickets on Tanjiro. What level do you have to get to where you can stop training and only do dailies? That level is 247. So if I were to get Tanjiro to 247 today, and then I just stop training him, and I use the XP tickets that I get on him, and I only do dailies, then I'll hit 260 by the end of the event. But that's still a lot of training. You have to get him to 247. Most people are probably going to have to get him to 250 by the time they are able to stop training him and just do dailies only. So you're going to be training this guy a lot if you want him to hit 260. So my recommendation is 2 things. Either don't finish the Tanjiro event and just ditch the 260 boss meal. You can get boss meals that level in the future anyways with future hyper burns. Or you do it, but you don't brute force it. Do it bit by bit every day, and over time you'll get to 260. That's what I would recommend for people who actually want to get them to 260. I wouldn't recommend brute forcing training like I am. Like, I trained this character for like 12 hours plus so far, and I'm only 242, right? And I'm gonna need another like 25-30 hours till I'm level 260 if I just raw dog training it, right? That's a lot of time on a character that might not be your main. Or I'm going to spend 50 hours or something on this character and it's not my main. You could get a lot of progress on your main if you do that instead. So what I would recommend is, if you really want this character to 260 and you want to get the Explorer Warrior boss meal, I would say maybe train it about an hour a day and make sure you're on your coupons. Make sure you always use coupons. Make sure you always have burning if possible. If you have VIP boosters from a previous event or something like that, make sure to use them. Make sure you're always doing your dailies. That way you can space it out over time and you can develop a routine, and eventually you'll level him up. But brute forcing training, doing like many hours every day, I don't recommend. So if you were to get it to 260, like I said, I would do it with consistent training every day versus a ton of training at the start. And if you don't want to get him to 260, I think that's perfectly okay as well, because you can still get a decent boss meal out of it. You get the Hyperburn coupon once you're level 200 only, so it's not that difficult to get, and that's perfectly okay. Now for me, I'm probably gonna still end up training him to level 255 just so I can make a follow-up video and show you guys exactly what I'm doing, what maps that I went to, in case anybody does want to train it. I'm doing it for you guys. Now the last part of this video that I want to talk about is bossing on Tanjiro and the gear that I have. So the gear that I have, I actually very overfunded this character, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it unless you have a lot of money. So I have a bunch of characters that can kill really high bosses, so I'm able to get money relatively quickly compared to most people, right? I put about, I would say, 8 bill meso onto this character, and that's because I completely funded it off event, right? I'm just impatient. I want to get the resources now, and I want to start training him immediately. So what I ended up doing is I soloed CRA, and I got real CRA gear and 17 starred it, and used free cubes that I got from bossing to get some of the gear to unique, but basically it's unique epic 1 line strength, right? And this is just the boss accessory set. I got these to 17 star as well, just so I could get that tax to help me mob. I got a treasure hunter John ring, got it to 15 star, got it 6% strength. I put a flame on the CRA weapon just so it can have more attack, because attack helps you mob a lot. I got the Dominator pendant, the free one. I got a Pencilier shoe, got some strength on it as well. Magnus shoulder, got it from killing Magnus. Hilla glove, got it from killing Hilla. And then this is something that you don't see very often. This is where most of my money went, essentially. And I don't recommend doing this. I kind of did this just for the memes, but I also kind of got lucky with the potential, like 966 strength. Like, I mean, it's like kind of 3-line, but I also 5-starred it. And the reason I 5-starred it is because, again, like, I have a lot of money that I can get, and I just felt like I wanted as many gains as possible. And I'm like, you know what, 5-starring this probably isn't a bad idea for me, but I really wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend getting this cape, but I would just leave it at 0 stars. It has good base stats on it, but starring this cape is super duper expensive. But let's talk about bossing on Tanjiro real quick and what you want. So when I train, I use cooldown skip because you can skip the water wheel. Oh wow, I skipped it first try. And it's pretty useful when training, skipping the water wheel. You cannot skip thunder breathing, so don't like think about that. But for bossing, I think attack speed is also really good that I happen to get. So yes, I spent a bunch of money on circulators trying to get this as well. These are the hyper stats I run while bossing. And then this is also the Legion page that I run. I would switch these to strength and attack, but I'm too lazy to do that right now. And then these are the link skills I used when training, and these are the link skills I used when bossing. So I actually wouldn't necessarily recommend bossing on him until you get to level 240. The reason for that is you get this skill called Hinokami Kagura Dancing Flash. This is a super powerful nuke skill that does a stupid amount of damage, and it'll just make your bossing so much easier. When I did CRA, I did it in my 230s, and it was so much harder than it needed to be because I didn't have this skill. I also did it when I was like at 1.3 mil CP. It was still clearable. It just took a while, right? But just like any other thing that you do in bossing, make sure you get your buffs. Red, green pot, join a guild if possible. Seiram's elixir. These are very useful to help in bossing. But let me show you guys some stuff when it comes to bossing. So let's kill Vellum, for example. Now, the first thing that you want to do when bossing is you want to make sure that your battle stance is on. When it's on, it makes it so that you don't move while attacking. When it's off, you end up moving, and it's very annoying. So make sure it's on, and then make sure you always have this toggle on as well for mobbing as well. Like, you also want to have it on for mobbing. And then this skill, water breathing 4th form, is a bind. So you can do your bind burst, and most of Tanjiro's damage is in Hinokami Kagura and thunder breathing. Like, these two skills are like 90% of your damage pretty much. So you want to really make sure that you're able to hit those skills and you're not missing out on it. So I'll show you the difference between just his regular DPS and then using his burst skills. So I'm going to whack Vellum for a little bit with just DPS skills, right? So I'm going to hit him. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use the water wheel. Okay, I got stunned. This one. You can see, like, you know, it's not the worst damage in the world. Like, you can still clear. It'll just take a, like, you know, a decent amount of time, right? But if I were to bind him and use my burst skills, look how much damage this does. I literally kill him, right? Like, these skills are so ridiculously powerful. It's just like all your damage. Like, you ever hear about like Night Lord? Like, Night Lord off burst just does nothing, for example. This class is more than that. Like, this class, literally everything is in those two skills, and that's it. So I would highly recommend, if you do end up bossing on Tanjiro, start doing it at 240, because the Hinokami Kagura skill is so strong, and it'll just make things infinitely easier for you. Where, as you can see, I just one-shot Vellum. Like, it's just ridiculous. Now, I do think if you can get to around 3 mil CP, it's probably good enough to train all the way to 250, and then you could do dailies from there, right? If you want to get it to 260. But it is going to take some like expensive funding, or you end up getting maybe Absolab gear or Golix gear. You get carried by someone, or maybe you could join a party with a bunch of Tanjiros, because if you have a bunch of 240 Tanjiros and you do the Hinokami Kagura, like, you can definitely kill Lomian. The other thing that's very important about this character is it has like no IED, so you have to keep that in mind. Like, having no IED makes things very difficult for you. I actually tried to put familiars on him so that I could get some more IED, but then I realized in his beginner tab he doesn't even have the summon familiar skill, and I don't know how to get it. Like, I tried talking to the Roro thing on the left, so if anybody knows how to summon familiars, definitely leave a comment, but I couldn't figure it out. So I tried to get IED that way, but I couldn't. The other thing that really sucks about Tanjiro is he doesn't have an emblem or a secondary, which honestly really sucks because you get so much damage from emblem and secondary, and then you're stuck with the rinky-dink Fafnir weapon for a long time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna get a real Fafnir weapon, get it to legendary, and use that for damage. But I might already be done training it by then. But if you listen to what I said in this video, you should not spend a ton of time on this character. Just train it a little bit every day, or maybe just do dailies on it if you don't want to finish it. And then you'll get your Fafnir weapon because it'll take weeks, and then eventually you'll get enough pieces. And if you do end up wanting to train it, getting a Fafnir weapon to legendary will help a lot, getting the attack percent lines, and it'll definitely help you even killing Lomian if you get like an IED line as well. So you could even work on Apsos if you really want to do that. That's like kind of try hard for Tanjiro. It's hard for me to sit here and recommend to be like, oh, get Apsos on this, because it is a lot of effort. This event basically was an unexpected amount of effort, and yeah, I mean, let me know what you think about it. That's basically my experience with Tanjiro so far. I hope you learned something. Oh, one last thing that I remembered. If your Tanjiro journal is bugged, let's say you can't claim something, try and changing your channel, because I've seen that work for some people, but I've also seen it not work for some people. So if that doesn't work, you might just be bricked, bro. Like, I don't even know what to say. And you just have to wait for comments from Nexon. But yeah, that's about it. That's my thoughts on Tanjiro, my advice on this character. I'm going to keep training it, and I'm going to have another follow-up video if you guys want that, about even more thoughts about this and like what it was like to train it all the way to 260. Honestly, I think this event would have been 100 times better if they just made this character hyperburn. If this character was hyperburned instead, I think everybody would be so happy, because then you could just do dailies, you'll finish very quickly, and that's it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching. Obviously, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Help each other out if I'm not able to get to every single comment. I appreciate you guys so much whenever you guys reply to each other and give each other advice. It's so nice. And join the Discord. Obviously, if you need any help with anything, we have a very active Discord community where you can ask for anything that you want. And with that all being said, I appreciate you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. And what do you guys think of my IGN? That's my little secret password at the end of this video. What do you guys think of the IGN? He's going to be turned into a Dark Knight. Hydreigon's a Dark type. You know, I thought it fit. All right, anyways, have a wonderful day. Shout out to my members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, Jay, Kyle, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, Henzo, Henrique, and Kelvin. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you everybody who submitted fan art. You can always submit it in the Discord, and it'll be put at the end of every video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.